So, as we were talking about with our lovely channeled guidance, the big themes, these global tower moments on a note, are happening on a large scale and on an individual scale. So for the 5D collective individual, straightforward, we don't have huge tower moments because 5D is that integration of the brain. So you're able to handle the thoughts, the emotions, sensations that arise. So your body and mind are oneness. And this is why your emotional body and your energy body, they navigate together because you've learned how to do neurofeedback. You know that the biochemistry of your body is dictated by you with the additional support of the good mental health professionals. For those who have any type of diagnoses, if there's a brain structure situation, they'll know about it. They'll also know about very good advanced information from neuroscience to, what is it? Not epigenetics. Maybe, yeah, I always forget, but there's a lot of different information out there. I have a number of sources. They're all biologists, neuroscientists, mental health professionals with the different titles, not only a basic psychology degree. In fact, actually, those individuals are limited. And as even Patrick Tiahan, childhood trauma survivor, who has a community presented, he shares how important it is. So one, trauma is relational and intimacy is at its core. That's Terry Real, and he's amazing. He helps people in their intimate relationships, and he shares, you don't fix your partner don't fix you. To be the wise adult, you use your prefrontal cortex. That's where you're locked in and loaded. So your mindset is everything because you choose when you're interacting and when you're sensing, I'm uncomfortable, I'm unhappy, if you're going to project it. Or if you're going to say, you know what, I'm in a really bad mood right now. That takes practice. And that's why the healthy self-worth, thank you, Terry Real again, is superior, no, inferior, no, the middle. And he points out when he's working with people, he says, if you're inferior, pull yourself up. If you're superior, pull yourself down. And in the heart, in fact, here's why the 5D collective mystics with clairs are not actually in any way, shape, or form attracted to the verbiage of 4D collective. So when I was watching this video on the chosen ones or the global tower moments, these are very informative and beautiful people. They support the 4D collective to navigate life from their storyland. Because see, how to explain this one? If you need a purpose to be yourself, the human you, this is where your drive is about bonding or belonging. So it has to be externalized. Inside of yourself, your attachment system doesn't feel fulfilled by simply breathing because you long to be seen by somebody, a group in this case. And so the drive is, if I don't have a purpose for anyone except for this, I don't feel in my body the depths of the beingness, and it's an emotional stuff. It's not this, the thinking, it's emotions that come up. The thinking makes a story about it, and that's why the 4D collective has their tarot readers, Akashic record readers, and everybody. And really, that's why we have a big rainbow of colors. And the 5D collective, we don't do the, sky is falling, Chicken Little kind of thing. Our body doesn't feel helpless here when we have no purpose, meaning our name is a purpose. And then participating with humanity, that's why Human 101 is very straightforward. We have purpose. We make a difference in each other's lives. The people who need to be stars, there's our codependent types. I'm going to change the world with my superhero cape. Or because I'm doing spirituality stuff, I'm a superhero. Or because I have clairs, I'm a superhero. Which is why when I saw this other dude, I'm like, wow, his story. I could share a whole buttload of stuff that's gone on that's very similar, but in a whole different way than how he's presenting it. He's literally presenting it with him being the hero of his journey, which is what they get taught. By the way, the 4D community, you're a hero, you're your own hero. Do you really need to hear this? But let me take steps back. As I was saying, 3 drives, this is where Daniel Siegel presents this to me, and I get to learn about interpersonal neurobiology. I'm still finishing up the course, but it's amazing what I've learned so far because the mind, brain, and relationships. So 1, Terry Real, relationships. Trauma is relational, intimacy is at its core. Patrick Tiahan, childhood trauma survivor, who is now a therapist, who has a community. Please look him up if you're somebody who wants that type of community. Relational trauma requires relational healing. And as he describes, a huge current assumption is that all therapists will hold space for your childhood trauma and have the tools to heal it. And he says most do not. So interview them. Preferably, he says, trauma is their whole gig and not a side issue they know of. Be discerning and keep looking for that person who gets you and is safe and knows what they are doing when it comes to childhood trauma. It's not only knowing, obviously, what they're doing, but it's the feeling. So when you understand that we are all nervous systems, and so the person who's a somatic empath, these are my 5D Zen masters, you're here, we will be around each other and we will perceive each other's emotional stuff. And the feeling of being the felt sense, this is what then has, I can't even explain it the way I want to, so I'm going to leave it alone. But the 4D, because they're not in their ventral vagal nervous system, they're scanning territory with an unsafe, helpless body. They're not connected to their emotional body. They have not created I can take action with all of my emotions of my human being body with here. No. They didn't notice when they do the superior or the inferior bit that they can be here with silence. Silence here means simply not there is not an absence of emotion because your attachment system is always going to be on. It's the moment it longs to be seen so that it may be soothed that you will notice it. How? Oh, wow. I was really looking forward to sharing that exciting news with my loved one. There's like this really, really beautiful thing that I shared way back when. It never got listened to. And when I saw it, I was like, But I had been used to, knowing not everybody shares joy in life the same way. I, in fact, loved one of my friends because they're so honest. So I love that because unlike in this other situation, also friend, which was complete ignoring, no feedback, so I didn't get any communication. I'm not going to listen to it. It's too long. I don't care about it. None of it, right? But it's something normal. People who don't know how to take action or they don't care to because they don't care to communicate. That's a choice. This other friend, I sent him a similar long message, which was for him. And he told me, I will not ever maybe listen to that. Or maybe I will, but I'll be drunk or I'll just be having a fun time. So this is where I was like, thank you so much. Because really, I don't care if you hear it or not, but it is nice to see when people take action because that's the part of where it means you are secure to be yourself, even if you have attachment wounds or trauma wounds. This is the part of where it's not about perfection. People who take ownership of who they are and how they are people who will present their love language. The part about being genuine is where you're a shit, and we hug each other out. Thank you, Sadhguru, for that. This is what relationships are all about. It's finding the ability to feel safe to be yourself in another person. And that actually is easy to tell because you're going to be like, wow, I want more of that person. Yeah, this is fun. And that's where it's not ego-sensitive. The ego-sensitive people, they're all adaptive children. They get rigid and they begin to project. They do this in passive-aggressive ways. So sometimes the please-appeasers, they don't know how to say to themselves how they feel. So they have pent-up anger and spite, and then they project it upon other individuals because they will have the ones they idealize who are the ones who speak what they find as sanctified. So if I feel helpless in my body, I'm going to look to those who say, yep, you're helpless. You're the victim of your, for example, diagnoses. And another note, the psychology community didn't do it on purpose to create a way of diagnosing people that made it feel fixed. When I learned from the NICABM, the same thing Nutshell Lady talks about, it was through Stephen Porges, who says, our colleagues made a mistake. They assumed trauma was the event. Instead, what we are finding from the studies, and he's still building it, the polyvagal theory doctor, you can look him up, said what we found, it's not the event that takes place that creates trauma. It's actually how your nervous system responds to it. And here's where Bowlby has talked about a third of attunement and then repair and rupture. Your attachment. If you're a secure attachment person, you're going to be able to be resilient, and that's why some people don't experience trauma. The drives, Daniel Siegel. Self-agency, bonding, certainty. The bonding and certainty, they depend on the external to feel safe inside their body. So they will want to be seen, soothed, and then to feel safe and secure. So they don't tend to their emotional body or energy body by themselves. And their mind body is looking outside for who they can latch onto. So they project with those of us who are completely independent because we say you can do it by yourself. The minute you say that, you're reminding them of a feeling of helplessness that is still there. So we might do a 0.3 or 4 video because I haven't finished all of the channel guidance. But in the meantime, if you don't tune back in, Take your relationships seriously. Please share compassion. Everybody can use the consistent contingent friend. Tune in.